There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
What's up? This is Joey from Locust Grove.
This is Zain from Locust Grove, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Locust Grove's drummer, Joey Mandigo. Locust Grove will release their debut album, Battle of Locust, out June the 3rd. Also, check out their debut video single titled Worth My Time and new video single, The Battle of Locust. So, Joey, what's going on, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. Great seeing you.
Yeah, man. Likewise. So, how you been doing so far?
Been good, man. Been very busy. Almost up to the album release. Everything's just been kind of on full gears, all guns blazing. It's going to be an awesome release. We got a lot of cool stuff planned, so I'm excited, man.
That's what's going to that's going to be my next question. How excited are you guys to release this upcoming debut album, though, for you guys? Because it's got to be in the back of your mind, like, hey, this is our first album. We need to shoot this for the stars and put it all out there.
Yeah, we haven't released anything since 2017, and so it's been a long time for us. And this album took a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of persevering, and just being. I mean, again, patience is an understatement compared to what we've gone through to get this album out. Hence the name Battle of Locust. It all pretty much just means of just how much of a struggle and how much of a battle it took to finally get this record out. But we're proud of it, man. We've poured our heart and souls into this whole thing, so we're excited.
But sometimes, man, when you think about it, fighting that battle to get knocked down and get back up and keep trucking on, man, and to see that finished product, it's like it was worth it. Every ounce of energy you put into it.
Without a doubt, especially something that took this long. I mean, like, between releasing the Monster EP in 2017, we were on tour almost nonstop and just never really had, I don't want to say a chance to really sit down and write the record, because we've had a lot of chances and we did do just writing beyond capability. But it was more so just finding songs and finding the product that we were happy with and we were satisfied with, and that we felt that as soon as the song was done, we could just bury it and be done with it. And I mean, man, it was such a crazy battle.
What led Worth My Time to be the first track released off this album? Because I'm sure, man, there's other bangers that could well just have been the lead single off of this.
So Worth My Time was one of the first songs written for the record. It was written very long ago, and believe it or not, that song was shelved for like 6 months to a year. We didn't touch it, didn't think about the song. Couldn't find really any inspiration to finish the song. And we revisited it, the song. And once we kind of went back and we felt a little bit inspired, a little bit excited to like maybe finish the song, because the song wasn't even finished at the time. And when we finished it, we still had the rest of the record to write, but we knew that once this song was done and it was completed and everything was finished, that could open up a path to write these other songs. That was kind of like a kick in the ass head start. And so when it came time to shoot the video, we were like, well, man, like, Worth My Time was the first song kind of written. It was the first, like, okay, now that this song is done, let's start spitting out these other ones. So that was kind of like, to us personally, that was like, here is the gateway to the new record. Here is kind of what the vibe is going to be. That's just how we felt with the song. And again, that song personally to us was one of the first ones written. So when it came time to what song are we going to release for the video, I mean, Worth My Time was no question.
Joey, I absolutely love hearing backstories like that of where these songs come from, because it's like, everybody thinks, well, they just came out this. No, these songs, have been shelved, like you said, for, I've even known songs being shelved for 15 years. And then finally they see the light of day and it's like a big banger. It's like, what the hell? What, why did you wait this long? But maybe certain albums, it didn't call for that song. And then now it sees the birth of it.
Right. Well, and that's how a lot of these songs on this record are. A lot of these songs are old songs to us, and songs that we've even been playing live for a long time that just never really saw the digital life that it's now going to be when the record comes out. And so some of these songs are a lot newer that were written within the last year or so that kind of got added last minute, or, all were 2 or 3 tracks short. So we need 2 or 3 more songs to write and get out there. So some of the songs on this record are newer. But I mean, a lot of the ones, man, to us, it's like, man, these songs are just, I don't want to say all like in a bad way, like, oh, we don't like these songs anymore. But to us, it's like, man, finally, these songs got out of the computer and onto a disc. Now it's going to be out there. I mean, but man, we have so many songs in our vault. I mean, just hundreds of demos, songs that just aren't finished, songs that are finished, but we need to revisit them. So we probably have like 2 or 3 albums worth of songs just in our vault alone. It's crazy. And these 12 just so happen to be the ones that made this first debut record, which makes it kind of special.
And here's the nail on the head, man. Folks, these songs may never see the light of day, because their mindsets may be somewhere else, and these songs that's in the vault may still be in the vault for years to come,
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important, man, to any artists out there that are struggling getting material out. Like, if it sounds good to you, if you've poured your heart and soul into it and you feel that confident about it, get it out of your computer. Let the world see it. Let your art do its thing. Let it be exposed. I mean, we're all guilty of it, just holding on to songs forever. I mean, we've done it with this record, but I think now after this and kind of seeing the reaction we've been getting off the videos and the songs so far, it's like, man, like maybe in the future, like if we have 10 or 12 songs, like why wait? Music is never bad music. That's kind of how we feel about it.
Yeah. And you never know, man, the stuff you put out right now, going back and looking at these old songs and getting the feedback, you can move on and critique what, you didn't sound right on this album from everybody.
Absolutely.
Worth My Time was written about finally realizing that it's absolutely not worth having someone in your life that isn't worth your time anymore. And I could vouch about that. I know we all can. What made this song come about? What was a realization that said, well, we've got to do something with this?
Well, with that song, and it's crazy even thinking about it now, because what everyone hears, Worth My Time Now, it was a completely different song 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, an absolutely different song. And we played that song a few times live before how it is now. And it's funny listening to it now and like listening and remembering how it used to sound. It was just, I can't even believe it. And that's how a lot of the songs on the record are. But, when we wrote that song around that time, we were, seeing, I don't want to say bullying per se, but a lot of people talking down on each other and people just taking it, people just, letting these people walk all over them and letting them talk to them like shit, and just they're getting them down, and people are just you see it everywhere in the media and the news and everything today. Like, people are just taking it like it's just, it doesn't mean nothing to them. And then later on down the road, it becomes a big issue and this and this and that. And so with Worth My Time, it's pretty much us saying, hey man, like, it's like, as much as I want to say to you all the things I could do to you, all the things I could say that could hurt your feelings or, make you a lesser person, it's, a lot of people just aren't worth it. No matter how mad you get, no matter how upset you are, not just at a person, but even just at a situation, it's like, you got to think like, man, those people aren't going to go anywhere anyway. They're not going to do nothing with their lives. They're going to live the same pathetic life that they're living now. So they're not worth not only my time, but anyone's time, And the way I see it, unless you can prove differently to me or differently to someone else that you can be worth it, because you got to see that your life and your time and just your overall oversight is valuable. And you don't want to let anybody in your life that just doesn't value you, that doesn't, help other aspects in your life grow. You just, no one really has time for that anymore, and so those people just, they're not worth it, especially with the things that are going on today. And the older we get, the more responsibilities we have, and just how life goes in general, just holding on to those people and letting those people get to you, and holding temptation of getting mad and angry. It's not worth it anymore. It doesn't do nothing good for anyone anymore. Not like it used to, at least. Nowadays you can't go whip someone's ass and just walk away, no criticism, no nothing like that. Now they have the cancel culture out. Now people are, the social media has made it into where like it's impossible to stand on your own 2 feet and stand up alone in a situation, because now everybody else has to, bring their ideas and their opinions into it. So, now when someone just pisses you off or just like, man, you're not worth it. I got other important shit to do. So that's pretty much where the inspiration for that song came about, because just around that time, we were seeing so much of that, and so many of those people not only coming into our lives, but some of our friends' lives, that were ruining them. It's like, man, they're not worth your time. It's like, why keep them around? They're toxic.
Oh yeah. And we all should be like supporting everybody. I support podcasters. I share their stuff, but they just, sometimes it just seems like they don't get the same feedback, and I'm fine with that. That's cool. It's not like I'm trying to steal their, contacts or anything like that, or try to get another interview. If I had contacts and somebody wanted that, yeah, sure, I'll help you. I don't.
Right. No, for sure. And that's again, that's kind of how we thought about when we were writing the song. It's like, well, we'll support anybody, man. But if they're going to go out of their way to be who they are and to cast their opinions in a negative way, like, fuck you,
I know you mentioned earlier, Joey, that these are old songs, but I mean, are these old songs mixed with a few new songs, or just some that was left in the vault you guys want to put on here too?
Zane, you can answer that.
Yeah, they're mixed. Like some of them, when we say old, we've been, we wrote them probably 3-4 years ago, but we finally have them, professionally mixed and mastered and, in the final state. So we've been playing a lot of this record live, but then I would be willing to say half of it we haven't ever played live. So yeah, I'd say a little bit of both.
This is Zain. I forgot to mention that. This is Zain, the guitar player who jumped in here.
Yeah.
So are there any tracks that did not make this album we can see on another EP, or maybe just another album down the road from you guys? I know the vault stuff. I know you got stuff into that, but
yes. Oh, so many. Well, I don't want to say so many, like a lot, but there was quite a few that we were going to put on this record, or we were writing for this record. But, I think at the time we were writing it, it kind of not drifted away sound wise, but we just didn't really feel that it would fit the theme of the record. And so we just thought, like, man, like now that the song is either already done or almost done, it's like a 98, 99% done. Let's just save it for the next record. It's quite a few songs that got that fate, unfortunately. But if they're going to be on the next record, then people will see it eventually, but it just didn't make it to this one.
Has the pandemic helped the band to take more time creatively on, writing new songs, creating this album? I know you guys said there's some more stuff that's on this album, but has the pandemic helped you guys to create more stuff and take your time with it?
Yes, for sure. That's one of the, I tell everybody the pandemic sucks. We can all agree with that. You know what I mean? But the only thing it took away from us was touring and playing shows. But we actually were lucky enough to be out on the road in like 2019, December into 2020, January. And so we were out there on the road right when we ended the tour, COVID happened. And then so we kind of sat here for a while, and it did kind of suck because our record, like Joey's saying, these are kind of old. We had all the songs pretty much recorded and ready to go on the album, but it was like do we really want to release an album and just not be able to play or tour on it or promote it or sell it to people? It's like, no. So we chose to hold it. And then, like you were saying, we worked, saved money for music videos. We, put some, ads together for certain stuff to try to build our numbers up and whatnot on social media, and definitely put money behind the mix. We got it mixed professionally in that 2-year time period. We got it mastered, and we had the artwork paid for as well. So we kind of just took the product that we had and just invested more money to make it even better.
I got to know, how cool was it doing the video for Worth My Time and the Battle of Locust? Because these were 2 live videos that you guys did. How cool was working doing these 2 live videos like this?
Well, Worth My Time, it was great because we had an old friend of ours, Clark Deal. He's done 2 other videos. Our first 2 music videos he's done for us before, so we've been familiar with working with him and stuff. But he's always really easy to work with, and has a lot of ideas and very open-minded, and kind of lets us do our own thing, but not drift too far away from what we're trying to do. But Clark did an amazing job, and performance videos are always fun just because it just feels like you're just rehearsing, but you're able to rock out, and not just in front of people, but you just kind of just get the jam with each other, but you're only playing the song 7 or 8 damn times, but it's still fun. And then Battle of Locust, Zane, if you want to tell them about that.
Yeah, well, let me add this on Worth My Time real quick. So we had Clark Deal just basically did the performance of that video, and then we sat back with it for a while and decided that we wanted some other stuff to go in there. So we actually hired another guy from Atlanta, Georgia. His name's Alex Hader, I think. And he did all the other footage that you see in there with the clock and the chick and all that stuff. And he kind of re-edited the video that we already shot with Clark and made it what it is today. But yeah, Battle of Locust, though, to talk about that one, I think that's probably collectively one of our favorites at this point, because we put a lot of time and effort into that one. We met how the idea kind of started, and I know it's been done before. Van Halen did it, and I think Fear Factory did it, and a couple other bands have done it. But we have a fan, his name's Alan Morrison, and his son, who was 6 years old at the time. Well, when I met him, I was just kind of like, holy crap, that kid kind of resembled me as a 6-year-old, Yeah. So I was like, man, we should totally, this idea came about probably in 2019. It's man, we gotta have a video where there's little kids. So we had to find all the kids. That took time. We had to buy all the mini instruments and get all that around, find the location. That video took so much work, but it's probably the best one we have, in my opinion, because it's just, there's so much into it, And we did that one with Steve with Red Plains Media, and he's really awesome too. All the Mortal Kombat stuff and all the gaming stuff with us playing the games, he was, that was all his idea, and it was cool to work with him too, because he had a lot of cool ideas for us, that we had never got to do before.
That was going to be one of my next questions. Are they is there a track that's standing out more to you than any right now on this? Because I know these are your babies, and I know you're sick and tired of them, finally getting them out and be done with them. But you guys have
I've been screaming it forever. That track number 3, which is called Bluebird, is probably the best song that I've ever been a part of writing in my entire life. So I've always been close to that song. I think it's gonna, if I was a rich man, I would take that to radio in a heartbeat and just run a campaign on it for as much money as I could, because I believe in that song so much. I think we can all agree, within the band, that Joey was saying, it's taken us so long to get this record around that we've had plenty of time to have all these songs we wrote and then just go, that one's perfect. A song like Battle of Locust, the moment I sent that demo to Joey, he literally calls me and he goes, bro, don't let anybody tell you that song sucks or that we're not going to do it. He's like, don't manager say anything. He's like, we're doing that song. He's like, that song's awesome. So some of the songs kind of just were wrote and just boom, they come together and they're done. Everything's great. Other ones Sick of It All, that song was one musically that we all had for a while. And it was just couldn't figure out a lyric thing to, at all. And then the whole pandemic, I was sitting around one day, I was like, man, I'm sick of everything, sick of it all, and just kind of wrote it along that. So it's kind of our pandemic song, if you will. But that one, it took what feels 2-3 years to actually get it to where we're yes, it's done. So it's this album, I would be willing to say, to bring it back what I'm saying, I think from start to finish, we've worked so many years and so many hours writing this that I do believe that from track number 1 to track 12, it's really solid.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a lot of songs, including Bluebird and others, that were kind of out of our writing element versus what people were used to at first with Monster EP, like Bluebird, Hard to Change. There's a track called Days Gone on there that we've never really stepped into that kind of element of writing before, which that was another part of the battle with this record, is that we kind of didn't want it to sound monotonous or stagnant or kind of the same sounding songs every song. Something just had to be different in its own little way. And I feel with those 3 songs, along with some others, it kind of made it to where that record has both sides. You have the heavier and the rock, and then you have the calm and the easy, and that nice blend together is really what makes this record special for sure.
I got to ask this though, Zane, because you said Bluebird was the most, collective song that you've been part of. What made that song one of the best songs that you've ever been part of? What is it about that song that sticks out the most for you, man?
Well, honestly, it's kind of what it was written about. It kind of came together really easy, but I also wrote that song, as a perspective of kind of what music means to me. And I kind of wrote it about some of my past experiences with bands and stuff, there's a line in there that says, if I'd known what I know now, would it change a thing? Would it be the same? Would you still let me down? There's a couple parts in that change, but it's that kind of vibe, looking back at the past and going, man, if I knew what I knew right now, 10 years ago, would my life be different? Would it be better? Would it be worse? And it's I don't know, man. I've watched that, that being close to me on a writing point from there, but also, and you can ask Joey, we would literally go out and tour and people would come up to us and be like, what is that bird song or whatever? They just love it, man. And it's just and like Joey was saying, the reason why that song's so cool is because it fits right there with active radio rock, but it's still true to who we are. You know what I mean? And we love doing that stuff to where if you put us on the road with Slipknot or something, it's we're going to go out and play Worth My Time, Battle of Locust, Monster, or heavy bangers, but it's we also want to be able to go out with Hailstorm or something, or Shinedown, you know what I mean? And then if we get to do that, we're playing Hard to Change, Bluebird, Truth, our more radio rock sound that's still heavy and fun for us to play, but it touches that sound. But yeah, man, Bluebird, dude, like I said, it means a lot to me lyrically, and kind of the place of mind where I was at that time, writing this record and whatnot. And then, like I said, just all the people I've shown it to, different producers and our manager and just immediate fans, family, whatever, they just love that song, and they bring that one up all the time. So kind of have to believe our fans at that point. But again, I just think it's a well-written song, and it's got everything from clean stuff to rockin' choruses to a solo to just all about the vocal part. Just every bit of it's cool with huge drums. I just think that song's got everything that a perfect rock song needs.
Was there anything specifically, guys, you wanted to make sure that was on this album that makes it come out swinging? Was there anything on this specifically that you said has to be on this album or has to be in it?
Yeah, that's probably, for me, that's going to be Sick of It All. Because like I was saying a second ago, we had that song musically forever, and it was originally called Stick to Your Guns. And it just, the vocal part kind of went with the main riff, and it was kind of bland a little bit. And then, our manager was kind of like, man, the times we're living, probably shouldn't be singing about stick to your guns, even though we meant it of a way, not like a gun. We meant stick to your guns, what you know what I mean? Be ass type, but we ended up just changing it. And like I said, that was one song that I can remember it all the way up to the end. It was maybe this song is just going to have to go on the next record, and then finally it just came together, you know what I mean? So, it was one that I personally never gave up on, because it just was the music to it's just the epitome of what we are musically, just heavy, just, punch you in the face, drums, bass, heavy riffs, screaming vocals. It's a pretty pissed off song.
Do you find it very hard to be an upcoming band at this point, the way things are now?
Very. And I don't say that personally to ourselves, but the times that we're living in, it's getting more difficult and difficult by the month, by the year, even by the day. A lot of it has to do with just the internet, social media, everything is being so oversaturated in so many ways that it's kind of hard to stand out, or it's kind of hard to be caught up with the algorithms and be caught up with everything. And, it's hard to stay ahead.
Yeah.
There are ways to advance, but man, it's like it's constant everyday work on just so many levels, so many aspects. I mean, nowadays when you're in a band, you don't be in a band just to play guitar or just play drums or just do this. If you're in a band, you got to run the social media, you got to talk about your band, you got to post about shows, you got to go out and speak, like do stuff like this, like speak about your band. I mean,
your own street team. You got to learn how to be a mechanic because your tour rig's going to break down, so you got to learn how to fix that. It's a lot of work, man, being in a band. But at the same time, though, I really don't think that it's ever been easy. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what day or what decade, like part of me is feeling like, that it was easier back in the day, but then another part of me feels like having social media and everything, the way everything is, it's easier to get yourself out there. But like Joey was saying, it's harder, I think, to be unique because everybody's doing it now. You know what I mean? That's the problem. So it's kind of a give and take. You know what I mean? It's beautiful that we can social media bands can be their own label pretty much. And like there's bands that I know that are doing great for themselves on their own because they just know how to market. They know how to, just do the whole thing, because that's a very big aspect of the band thing is like you got to make your music and the product, and then you got to get it out there and it's got to be visible for people. Not everybody knows how to get on the road. Not everybody knows how to, just market themselves. You know what I mean? And so like Joey was saying, you got to do a lot nowadays to be in a band.
It's even like being a podcaster, like what I do. You have to hone in your craft. You have to stay ahead, like Joey said. You're always pumping out interviews. You're always trying to, market your brand. You're always trying to be something different than others out there. And I'm not trying to be arrogant or an ass, but I think my interviews are great. I think my questions are really good, and I'm very confident in my questions. Yeah. I don't care what they eat. I don't care anything like that. I want to know specifically what they're working on and get their stuff out there to get people to say, look, listen to this band. They've got some good shit. It's a struggle. But I'm finally getting up to subscribers. I've got 776, which I could hit that. I wish I could hit that 1,000 plateau. But it's a grind. It's just like a band. It's a grind, and you just keep pumping stuff out.
And that's what I was trying to say, man. Like I even make it as an example to bigger bands. Everybody starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody got their start with playing to 5 people. And, not having any subscribers, not having anybody care about your product or care about anything what you put out. But as you said, the more you grind, the more you do it constantly, like it grows, but it's definitely not easy. But again, everybody starts from somewhere.
Yeah, you got to make sure your tags are right. Make sure you're trying to like put stuff in the descriptions, what they want. I mean, it's a very thin line of getting subscribers or not. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Oh man. So Zane, I gotta ask this, man. How's it feel to be endorsed by Dean Guitars out of Tampa, Florida, dude?
Bro, that's like honestly anybody that asks me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not famous and I'm not rich, but I've made it, bro, because I'm endorsed by my favorite guitar company in the world. So like to me, bro, just being cool with those people down there, and they've helped me out with guitars and stuff. It's like, dude, what else could I mean, be cool to get amps and other stuff and pedals and all that stuff too, but guitars, man, cost a lot of money, so it's nice to have them in my corner for sure, man. And I mean, they've been with me since my last band over like 10, 12 years ago, so they're just really cool, man.
I gotta say this right now. When I watched the video last night and I seen you up there just jamming out, dude, I was like, Dime would be proud.
Hell yeah, that means a lot, man. That's what, to me, man, that's what music is, dude. It's about inspiring the younger kids to get up there and keep doing what we're doing, you know what I mean? Like, there's, it's carrying the torch for the greats, man, and there's too many kids now that they like different genres of music. Like at one point in time, rock and metal used to be the number one, it's like that's the cool thing to do, is go out and be metal, so.
What's the growth musically you guys seen from yourselves and this band working on this album, if anything?
Vocals, in my opinion. Like I've only been singing since 2015. So it's like with our first record, a lot of it was pretty in a box, pretty basic. And with this record, you know, I really tried to, I had 5 years to sit here and just do all kinds of different shit. So just, I mean, I'd be willing to bet on this record there's like a lot of range from me doing just like lower stuff to like high pitch, like a lot of tracked in backing vocals too, a lot of harmonies in there. Just like I went nuts with the vocals on this one, you know. So and I've had a lot of people tell me too that like, bro, your vocals are insane now, you know, or like you've stepped up so much in your vocals. Like, so I'd like to believe that like really I think this album, you know, as a vocalist, I think that's what we were probably missing is just like a matured vocal, you know, and like somebody had to do it. You know, I wasn't always a singer, but, you know, I started singing when I started this project and just haven't looked back since. But I definitely think that vocally is probably, I think that's where it came together finally for sure.
I would say vocally and guitar work too, like a lot of different patterns and variations and a lot of different melodies and experimenting with structures guitar wise. I feel like it's a lot different than our last EP for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of David, one of my best friends, told me the other day that we have a lot of riffs. He's like, man, y'all right. So you put a lot of riffs in your song. I'm like, yeah, man, because I don't want it to sound like copy paste songs over.
Yeah.
You know, like I want it to have a verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, badass breakdown or a bridge or a solo. Like our writing structure is not hard to catch, but it's like it definitely does verse, pre-chorus. Sometimes there's not a pre-chorus into a chorus, verse, back in the chorus, and then right there at that next spot we normally try to do a solo or a breakdown or a bridge, something, and then you just throw the verse and the chorus back on there, end it on the main riff, done. But like I do try to put a lot of thought, you know, making riffs flow and like having riffs, you know what I mean? Because like you don't want, to me it's like there's a lot of music out there that just like was a pattern and then they just do the whole song. That's the song for 5 minutes, you know.
That's what I was going to say. You don't want to sound like the Joe Rowe on the radio that you hear all the time, or
no,
the same bands putting stuff out. I'm not knocking nobody whatsoever, but you know when a band is putting their time in when they sound different than what you hear out of a group of 10 bands. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, one of the best compliments I've received here lately from an interview that we did, actually, this guy, and I've never heard anybody say this, but he was like, bro, he's like, I like the fact that I can listen to y'all's band and like I can see through and I just know who y'all's influences are right out the gate. He's like, man, I can't stand when like I'm watching a band and I'm over here like, who and what are they trying to do? Like, where'd they get their inspiration? Like with us, he straight up goes, bro, I know you love COC. I could tell you like fucking BLS. I know you like Metallica. He's like, I'm like, yeah, yep. Pantera, like, just you hear our band and you know, our influences bleed through our music. And I think that was a good compliment. I never thought of it that way, but it is true, man. Like good bands out there. Like, I don't think that it's because none of our songs are note for note trying to rip anybody off, but there is a style and there is a niche that we're in, you know, and like we're trying to, you know, like I said, fill the shoes of the greats that are no longer with us, like Pantera and, you know, Damage Plan and, you know, all those bands, you know, that did that sound.
Was this album produced in-house or was it actually at a studio?
In-house.
Well, so we did all the tracking at my studio. And like I was saying earlier, when the COVID stuff happened, we kind of like, because we were going to release it with like my mixes and whatnot. But then I kind of got cold feet because I sent them to a couple friends and the couple friends were like, man, like, because they're producers too. And they're like, man, these songs are amazing. They're just like, but your mix is just, they're like, they sound like demos. So I was like, oh shit. You know, I'm like, well, let's step back for a second and like just hear what a professional mix sounds like. So we sent it out to Mike Plotnikoff, which he our manager at the time managed him as well. But yeah, so we sent it out to him and he did one track for us. And at the time, it kind of worked in our favor because Mike wasn't doing a lot because of COVID. So he like cut us a pretty decent deal to work with us because he didn't have anything going on. So we just manned up, man, and paid for, you know, the 12 tracks to get professionally mixed. And once that happened, man, everything was done in-house, and then we just paid him to mix it. And then he recommended a guy that he uses at Sterling Sound to master it. And so we paid those dudes to mix it and master it. But the rest of it was, everything was done at my studio.
What's your thoughts on going back out on the road? Because I know everything's opening up, but I know this is in the back of your mind that you want to get back out there and promote this album some more. But what's your thoughts on getting back out?
We were actually going on tour with Charger in June, middle of June, and it was scary going back out on the road, and it was very questionable because, you know, back in the day when we were starting, we were just wanting to tour just to tour. We didn't care where we played. We didn't care what kind of club we were in, who we were playing with. At that time, we were just wanting to get our name out there and just present ourselves out there as much as possible. But as time grew and expenses got bigger, and, you know, we just wanted tours and certain opportunities just to make sense. And so we were originally trying just to do another headline run, and, you know, just logistically, it didn't make sense. It wouldn't benefit us. You know, we're not on that kind of level yet just to go out on our own. And then I think like a week or so later, maybe a week and a half later, we were presented with this Charger tour, which Charger features Matt Freeman from Rancid, you know, who was a very big name punk band, but he's got his own band now. And they're not like a Rancid sounding band. They're a little more modern kind of metal kind of sound. And we have a lot of tracks that share those same similarities. So when we were offered the Charger tour and we saw where it was going, like we couldn't help but just say, hell yeah. So, no, we've been wanting to go again. As Zain said, we were on tour in the beginning of the pandemic, like in January, right before everything just went to shit. And so since then, now that we have a finished product, we have a record out, and, you know, all of our ducks are kind of in a row. Like, I mean, a tour would just make it a full circle. So when we were presented this tour at the right time that our record will be coming out, like, I mean, we had to do it, you know, take every opportunity, every chance you get, because even though, you know, some restrictions are lifting up and they're being less heavy on mandates, like a lot of promoters, a lot of talent buyers, a lot of people are still a little hectic, still a little scared. They don't jump at the opportunity to book everybody like they used to. They're very picky. They're very like, you know, this has to benefit, because everybody now after the pandemic are trying to recoup. They're trying to financially recover, you know, and they just can't be losing money on any shows anymore. So like if they're trying to be as smart and as, you know, professional as they can be about it. So like when you get an opportunity, you know, you have to take it, because going out on your own, you face so many risks. I mean, there's risks touring in any circumstance, but, you know, at least if you're on a good package deal, you know, you're guaranteed to have people there at the show, and, you know, you can make some money that night and not having to play to 5 people, you know. But whether we play to 5 people or 500, you know, we love doing this regardless. But again, just as time goes on, especially with gas prices being as crazy as they are, like you can't do it for nothing. You know, you gotta put that aside and be like, man, we actually got to survive out here, you know, and actually get down the road. So when we were presented this tour, man, we couldn't say no. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah, and Charger is a hell of a band. If nobody's listening to their music, I suggest going and listening to it, because they have some really, really great music and great sound. I love how that band sounds.
Never heard of them before. You know, me and Zain are humongous fans of that kind of music. And so when we had heard about him, you know, I've known Ransom since I was a kid. I didn't know he was in another band. And Chargers, I guess, has been around for a few years. I had no idea. So like when we heard of them, I was like, oh, well, yeah, I'm on board. Like, yeah.
And you would think, because, you know, his name's associated with Rancid, it's going to be another, you know, that style of music, but it's totally nothing like that at all.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to Locust Grove's music in general, guys? What do you hope they get from it?
The chills, man. I hope it makes them want to get up and start headbanging and moshing. Like, you know, like I hope, like, you know, people connect with what we're trying to say lyrically, you know, and I hope people, you know, I hope it just makes them feel the way it does us. You know what I mean? Like, good music's good music, man, no matter who it is or the genre. And I just hope that people respect it, you know what I mean, on the level that we do.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, but just be inspired, you know, because there's been so many records out within the last few years that just inspired me to either write that kind of same style of music or make it heavier, or just, you know, get myself into that same realm. So, I mean, definitely, as Zain said, just, you know, create emotion. but most importantly, just inspire. Like if this record could come out and somebody could listen to it and it could it could inspire them to pick up the guitar or pick up a pair of drumsticks or just, you never know. And so, I mean, because those kind of records have done that same thing for me and for Zain and for all kinds of other people. So like our hopes is that knowing the trial and error and just the continuous crap that we've been through to put this record out finally, like we hope that other people can benefit greatly from it just as much as we're going to, not just, ear candy, but just in more ways than just listening to it. So
I got to know this because I know you guys still have a lot of music in your repertoire that you go back and listen to from time to time. But do you still have that go-to album or maybe just a song that you find yourself going back to and listening to from time to time that you just can't get it out of your system? You've got to go back and listen to it.
You can see, I feel like what I'm going to name, Zain is going to name the same ones.
Well, it just depends, man. There's a couple songs, that no matter where I'm at or when I hear it, I'm like, damn, that's such a good song, So, I mean, obviously some of my favorite bands, you know what I mean? Like anything by Lamb of God, you know what I mean? When it comes on, it's like, hell yeah, or, I mean, I'd say definitely, one that's mutual for our band is probably Master of Puppets because like we're actually trying to throw together a cover of that. And it's just funny how like I already knew that song. Joey knew that song. Darian knew that song. Pretty much our whole band just loved that song, but I mean, that's an iconic song that I try to like jam it, listen to it on the regular.
I mean, like those older songs and even some of the newer modern stuff, I feel like it carries over pretty well because like we'll find ourselves even jamming like more modern stuff, like more stuff that got inspired by the old stuff, which inspired us. And like we kind of make that instant connection. But yeah, Lamb of God, like Metallica, COC, Pantera. I mean, like Throwdown, we like Throwdown a lot. But yeah, just that kind of stuff for sure, just in that realm. But like how I see it, any heavy music is good music in this band, but we listen to all kinds of stuff. But as far as that, like, I mean, any song that just has a good, compelling riff that just immediately grabs you as soon as the song starts, that's, that you can easily say from there that it's already going to be a good song. Just regardless, just as soon as you hear that riff, you already got to know you got to listen to the whole song. And that's what we hope with this record. As soon as someone hears the first main riff, like they're hooked. You know what I mean?
And see, with me too, man, it's like I feel like I'm two different people sometimes because it's like my guitar playing influences, are definitely like, Zakk Wylde and stuff like that. And I'll be catching myself jamming a lot of that. But like vocally, man, the one that I always jam is 45 by Shinedown, the acoustic version.
Nice.
I love that song.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. You can always find your elements and your influences, and even bands that don't really do a lot of heavy stuff like Shinedown or, bands like that. Because I mean, like, the more you grow as a musician and the more you just play music in general, like you've got to appreciate the songwriting and the talent that goes with some of those bands. No matter if you want to say, oh, well, they're mainstream and they sold out and this and that, like there's a reason that they're there, like, I mean, some of those people.
I feel like Joey also always bumps Crowbar. He does, like every time on the road and Joey's DJ and he's just playing Crowbar.
Down, I mean, like those bands, but I mean, again, those are the kind of bands that like as soon as you hear the riff, like it's just so iconic and it has just so much expression in it, that as soon as you hear it, you already know where they're coming from, who they are, who they're influenced by, like, I mean, that's why I like it so much. It just has a lot of expression and emotion behind it. But yeah, like any form of good songwriting, like whether it's heavy, because like even me and Zain more so me, has been getting into a lot of pop stuff lately. But like Ed Sheeran and other artists like that, not just because they're pop, but like they're incredible songwriters, like you hear the structure of the song and just like how it's built. It's so compelling. Like I'm a huge Adele fan. Just, I don't give a hell. I'll tell anyone that, Adele to me is like up there in my top 5, if not more, just because she's just immensely talented. but it's not that. Like, you know, a lot of her songwriting you can use in rock and metal. You know, it's so universal. You know, I mean, like, people need to be taking notes from people like that as far as songwriting and, you know, expressing a song and telling a story. I mean, like, there's a lot of pop artists and a lot of people that aren't rock and metal that are just, they're killing it. Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize it, you know? So it's always good, not only just as a musician, but a music fan, to be open-minded and to listen to any kind of music. Cause man, like, inspiration can strike from anywhere.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And when you said down, the songs instantly hit me like Ghost Along the Mississippi and Stone the Crow. God, dog.
So we do a cover of Bury Me in Smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I got to hear that.
Like, it's funny, dude. We're not a cover band, and we only play 2 covers, maybe 3, and that's Cowboys from Hell, Bury Me in Smoke, and we're working on Master of Puppets right now. So we don't do it. Like, man, if we're gonna do it, we got to do the badass ones.
Yeah.
All right, Joey and Zane, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy this new album that's coming out from you guys here very, very soon. How can they do that?
All over social media, man. Locust Grove Band. We're across on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. Anywhere you can find Locust Grove and Locust Grove Band, man, that's where we're all at. We're pretty heavy on every social media account. So, I mean, we're constantly always updating stuff. We have 3 album release shows in Oklahoma, OKC, Chickasha, and Tulsa. And then we're going out on the tour of Charger from June 16th to June 26th. We'll be mainly on the East Coast, Midwest, going to East Coast. So if anyone is out there interested, come out to a show, man. It'll be a good one.
So yeah, number is 405-882. No. No, for real though. I mean, any social media, and dude, honestly, man, with our CDs and stuff, since we got our physical copies, we're actually like hustling those now, because like trying to get a little bit of extra money made before the tour. But then also, you know, I kind of look at it like the cool kids that still buy CDs, they can get theirs now. They don't have to wait till June 3rd. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we are pre-orders. Yeah, pre-orders of the new record are active right now. So yeah, people want to pre-order the record.
You know, we've got PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all that these days, and you know, we'll make it happen and then mail it out. But yeah, as far as contacting us, man, I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook. Joey's got Instagram, Facebook. We've got pretty much everything, man. Like Twitters, we got TikTok, we got all of that. You know what I mean? So just anywhere, just add us up, send us a message.
Before I let you guys go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
What do you say?
What's up? This is Joey from Locust Grove.
This is Zane from Locust Grove, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link. And get off your asses and go subscribe to BODS Mayhem Hour's YouTube link, because I needed subscribers, folks. Come on, help me out. I do all kinds of.
Hell yeah, that man we got to get him to 1,000 subscribers, because he can't start monetizing until he gets there. Come on, y'all.
That's right. I mean, just help me out. I'll bring you guys awesome stuff. And I've even said this before. The 1,000 subscribers, I will eat a bologna sandwich with you. Now.
Hey, there you go.
Also, please get out and check out Locust Grove. Please support these guys. They're busting their ass off, and they have some awesome songs out. And please, folks, check out this new album that's coming out, The Battle of Locust. You won't be disappointed. And Joey and Zane, man, you guys have nothing but support and respect for me on here.
Right on, man. I'll go subscribe right now as soon as we leave.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yep.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.